work with.
That had to be interesting.
The greatest moment in comedy is when you're backstage and Don Rickles just starts ripping on you. I mean, he just this is Alonzo, and you can see him this weekend, probably at San Quentin. He'll be doing 10 minutes while he's in jail. And the good thing he took a white man's name so he could tell the cops he didn't do it. Yeah. And you get stuff like that from Rickles, and you don't say a word. You just sit there and take it, and you absolutely love it. So that was
you ever work with him? Welcome to your Uncle Joe's Garage, supported by Mike Thompson RV. We got an RV out and back.
Nice.
Special guest Alonzo Bodden with us today. Pleasure to have you here, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me in.
You know, one of the first things we do in the garage, we always ask about your first car, but in your case, it might be your first bike.
No, it was my first car.
Yeah.
And my first car was very cool. It was a '67 SS Camaro.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and the thief was very conscientious in that he let me redo the whole car. Now this was in 1980, right? So this is back in the day when you jacked up the back of the car,
yeah,
and you put center lines on it, right?
Oh yeah,
Remember center lines?
Uh-huh.
So I had center lines on it, and I redid the interior. I did the interior kind of a two-tone red and black, and he waited. He waited
until you'd finished.
I finished all of that. And then he stole it. It was, I worked at Lockheed at the time in Burbank.
Okay,
and
yeah.
I was in Skunk Works, and when you work, the secret part.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So when you work in Skunk Works, you go inside the gate and they lock the gate. Like you can't come out until, the end of the workday or whatever. And it turns out car thieves knew that. And it was a shopping mall for car thieves. When I reported it to Lockheed Security, they were like, oh yeah, cars get stolen here every day. They were quite comfortable with it. They were like, yeah, it happens. We, what are we gonna do? There's thousands of cars here, so, so anyway, but yeah, that was my first car, so.
You started out at the top of the food chain.
Yeah, well I was a car nut as a kid. Like that was one of the reasons. I grew up in New York.
Oh.
And one of the things I loved about moving to LA is when you read the car magazines and the motorcycle magazines, everything is here.
They exist.
And you want to see Van Nuys Boulevard and Mulholland Drive and all of that. So,
I was in shock. I grew up near Rockford, Illinois, and we read Hot Rod all the time instead of doing the stuff. I came out here and found out those cars actually existed. They weren't just plastic models.
Right, yeah, it's all real.
Alonzo's playing the Brea Improv Thursday through Sunday, the 8th through the 11th.
Right.
Got to put that in there. World famous. In fact, you were a winner of Last Comic Standing.
Yes.
Back when Last Comic Standing was standing and significant.
Back when it was a reality show, when we lived together and we did the whole thing, and it was fun. So I was runner-up season 2 and I won season 3. We joke about it. It was back when we had MySpace and posting pages, so you didn't find out someone hated you for a few days. Perfect. It wasn't like now with Twitter, where as you're telling the joke, you find out they hate you. We had a little buffer.
Just a little dial-up buffer. One other thing, we just had Larry Wilcox in here from Chips a few weeks ago. That's our most recent bike guy. You, sir, have tremendous taste in motorcycles. Modus MSTR, I believe, is the latest.
That's the newest one.
A V4 engine in it.
The Modus guys, they're based out of Birmingham, Alabama. Brian Chase and Lee, can't remember Lee's name, but anyway, what they basically did, and you'll love this because you're a Corvette guy.
Yeah.
It's basically half of a Pratt & Miller Corvette V8 engine. They did a great job. Hydraulic lifters, push rods, but it makes great power. It's 180 horsepower, 125 pounds of torque, and it has this beautiful mechanical sound to it.
Yeah.
That, it's hard to describe, but I love it. And they put all top quality components on the bike, Öhlins shocks and Akrapovic exhaust, and it's handmade. It's production, but it's done by hand in the production line down in Alabama. And they're great guys, and it is a phenomenal bike. I love the bike.
I have not seen one in person, but I've seen the videos, and I've had people talk to me about it. Powerful, beautiful, very sonorous in sound, quite a bit like yourself.
Thank you.
Okay.
And you know what else I love about it? Lightweight. I'm coming off of a BMW touring bike, and the BMW was fantastic.
Yeah.
the BMWs use all the latest electronics, electronic suspension adjustment, satellite radio, just every, and it's fantastic. But the Modus gets back to the elemental, this is just a motorcycle, so it weighs over 100 pounds less than the Beamer.
Wow.
So it's significantly better handling. And it's much more on the sport end of the sport touring cycle. The other thing I love about it is there's not one on every corner.
Yes.
I kind of love that. I have kind of a weird bike collection. Like I have a Triumph Rocket 3, the big 2.3 liter Triumph that they made.
Does it leak oil like old Triumphs?
No, the new ones are good. But that's another one of those bikes where they're like, who buys that? And then they're like, and who spends money customizing it? They're like, what idiot would put money into, hi, how you doing? Hi, yeah.
So you have a beautiful exotic bike like the Modus. Is service, is that a problem?
Well, here's the thing, and they designed it to be easy to service, because it's basically, like I said, half
that Corvette, yeah.
Right. So,
which I love.
I get the bike, and the bikes, like most, are set up for smaller guys, 180, 190 pounds top.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And so they said, okay, we're going to send you a heavier spring for the shock, and at 600 miles, you get a break-in service done on the bike. So I bought the bike down in San Diego, so they said, take it back to the dealer, we'll put the spring on, blah, blah, blah. So I get a bike shipping company because I didn't have time to go.
Yeah.
And they take the bike to San Diego, and the dealer says, yeah, we'll fix it, and it'll take a couple of hours. And so anyway, they get into it. Now, the Modus, like you said, the Modus isn't their usual bike. It's different. So I guess what happened, they start taking it apart, and the guy really doesn't know what he's doing. And, I call the manufacturer. They're like, yeah, it should be a 1 hour job. This guy's 3 hours into it. And I'm like, look, I could have found someone who didn't know what they were doing here in LA. Like I don't have to go to another city to find someone who don't know what they're doing. I got local guys who are totally confused, But
there's a bunch of them in the garage right now.
Yeah. But ultimately, this was the cool thing between the manufacturer, and this is what's nice about dealing with a small manufacturer, because they got involved. And between them and the dealership, they said, don't worry, we'll take care of it. We'll get the work done. There is a learning curve, but they built, now I don't have to pay for the hours the guy was learning. I just have to pay for the hours for the repair. And the other thing that was really cool, they said, we'll deliver the bike. We'll bring the bike back. So ultimately they took care of it, but it was funny because it was like, well, I got mechanics here that if they want to learn, can we learn on someone else's bike, perhaps?
Alonzo Bodden School of Motorcycle Mechanics. Love it. Alonzo's playing the Brea Improv Thursday through Sunday, the 8th through the 11th. I thought I'd slip that in there. You're doing another gig later in September.
A very fun gig and a very great cause. We Spark is a cancer treatment assistance facility, and they help the families learn about the person who's dealing with cancer. They have all kind of workshops, and they have yoga, and they have just different support services, and they do a big comedy fundraiser every year. And September 15th at the Skirball Center, Ray Romano's headlining. Wendy Liebman's going to be on the show. Sarah Silverman's going to be on the show. I'm hosting it, and it's fantastic. And you remember we met
at the Alex Theater.
Right.
It was
Jonathan Winters was being honored, and Robin Williams was there, and
Paula Poundstone was there.
Yeah, that was a fantastic show. I had a great time meeting Jonathan Winters. I always love meeting the legends, the true legends of comedy, and he was one of them. And I was lucky enough to meet and work with Rickles one time. I got to work with...
that had to be interesting.
The greatest moment in comedy is when you're backstage and Don Rickles just starts ripping on you. I mean, he just this is Alonzo, and you can see him this weekend, probably at San Quentin. He'll be doing 10 minutes while he's in jail, and the good thing he took a white man's name so he could tell the cops he didn't do it. And you get stuff like that from Rickles, and you don't say a word. You just sit there and take it, and you absolutely love it. So yeah, that was very cool.
Did you ever work with Carlin?
Yes, I got to open for George Carlin once at the Comedy Magic Club in Hermosa, and absolutely fantastic. He was, I think, the greatest social commentator we ever had.
I'd go along with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say definitely.
and he, can you imagine if he were here for Donald Trump? Actually, that would have killed him. That would have killed him. Had he been alive, Trump running would have killed him because he couldn't have got all the thoughts out fast enough, as to what's wrong with us. Because that's what was beautiful about Carlin. He didn't necessarily attack the institution as much as all of us for putting up with it.
Yes.
Right?
That's a good way to put it,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. So brilliant.
Dude, thank you so much for coming in the garage.
Thank you. And those watching he has got the coolest studio setup here. This truly is a garage. You got the great floor, excellent chairs. This is nice, Joe.
And I invite guests who have motorcycles so I can ride in the back.
There you go.
Because you don't want me in the front. You really don't want me in the front. Alonzo, Brea Improv, Thursday through Sunday, the 8th through the 11th.
Right.
And the benefit is on the 15th of September.
15th at the Skirball Center.
And you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you, sir. I had a great time. Thank you.
Alonzo Bodden here in the garage.
Hey, I know that you, yes you, haven't been in the Uncle Joe's Garage yet, but I got some good news. We have created a mobile version of the Uncle Joe's Garage, thanks to our friends at Mike Thompson RV Superstores. Like they say, don't miss a moment, and don't miss the mobile Uncle Joe's Garage coming to a location near you.